All right, everybody, here we are, day 5 of the IAE 2952 ship show. Day 5 is ANVIL. Let's go take a look at what they have to offer. And as always, my gold armors brought to you by some bad spending. All right, we have Terrapin over here on the left. Got the Karak and the new medical Pisces in the middle. Got the Pisces on the right here. Let's go over to the Terrapin. Terrapin is a armored data runner. Supposed to be able to get in and do some stealthy recon, pick up some secrets, do some covert activity and get out. Not the most heavily armed of the Anvil craft, but it does have decent armor, so it'll withstand a little bit of a beating. Terrapin is not one that I have, but it is a nice ship. Call it the Flying Turtle. I guess I wouldn't call it so much a data runner as a reconnaissance type ship. Send a few people in a Terrapin to go to a forward area, check it out, do some surveillance. As far as I know, you can collect data, but its primary purpose, being so heavily armored, is first one in, scout ship. Now this is going to be the new medical Pisces, the C8R. If you are concierge, you get a special blue paint. I am actually a fan of the Pisces, to be honest with you. Oh, it's kind of a cool staircase. I'll use it. I'm a fan of the Pisces. It's a cool little runabout ship. I was guessing that the medical Pisces rumor was fake, to be honest. I didn't think you could put much in here, but they did. This is a Med 3 bed. That means it handles some gunshot wounds, some injury, enough to stabilize you. And if it's a light wound, get you back into the field. If it's a heavy wound, you can stabilize them in these level 3 beds to move them to a Apollo, triage or minivac, or an Endeavor. Hope is the hospital version, which I have. And they have also, you can get them to obviously space stations and planet-side cities to the hospitals. Now the hospitals have level 1 beds. Obviously you can take care of everything from critical near death to broken bones to everything on a tier 1 bed. Tier 2 beds are for some critical injuries, broken bones, head trauma. You've been aerated a bit. It'll stabilize you or fix you up, get you back into the fight. It just depends on the wounds. I don't know if there's actually a chart to show because they're not 100, they haven't really pinned down the medical loop yet, as far as I understand. That's pretty cool. Some storage. But eventually you'll be able to know what kind of injuries you have and what medical beds you can use as a 3-2-1. Again, the Pisces here is a medical 3. The Cutlass Red is the rescue version. That is also a level 3 medical bed. The Apollo Medevac and Triage are modular. So you can do something like, and again, this is concept, but you can do something like 6 level 3 beds, or you can do 3 level 3 beds and 1 level 1 bed, or 2 level 2 beds and 1 level 1 bed. You can do a hodgepodge, but it's pretty much 2 modules from what I remember, and you can have 1 level 1, 2 level 2s, and 3 level 3s in that module. So it depends on how you kind of want to set up your medevac or triage, and I can understand the reasoning behind that, though there's no point in talking about it on the Pisces, but you have a bunch of level 3 beds, you can get more people in and out the door quicker. You have 2 level 1 beds, then you can do 1 or 2 people, and then the rest of them are waiting. So you kind of want to mix it up a little bit. Anyway, this is the C8R, this is the Medical Pisces, and this is your quick little shuttle. The Pisces was specifically made for the Carac, and the C8X, the C8X is the 4-gun version of the runabout, quote-unquote fighter. The C8, I believe, only has 2 guns, otherwise pretty much the same. Over here we have the ANVIL Hawk. I couldn't tell from the distance. This is your bounty hunter ship. Cool thing about the ANVIL Hawk is back here in the Stinger is where you store people. So you get a bad guy, you stick him, bring him over here. Is there a way to get it to open without? We'll just try entering the prisoner seat. Prisoner seat comes out. Sucks you in. Then closes you up. Now you're ready for transport. There are a lot of bounty, well, I shouldn't say a lot. There's a few bounty hunter ships that are specific. This is the ANVIL Hawk. You can do 1. There is a Cutlass Blue, where you can hold, I don't even remember. There's a lot of pods in the Cutlass Blue. It's kind of like cryo tubes from Star Wars. The Warden, I think, the Avenger Warden, I could be wrong, I think has a few. Inevitably, you don't want to kill everybody, and you won't be blowing ships up when the game is released. It's pretty much going to be, they do something wrong, you catch them, and you bring them to justice. And ships you disable and salvage them, steal their parts, steal their inventory. But this is the small fighter, kind of like I'd say a fire spray is probably much better than this if you were to equate it to a Star Wars ship, but one man show in this. This is, pretty sure, Hurricane. Not a fan of it. A little lumbersome, and you have to have somebody in the turret. This is a heavy fighter. They show this squaring off with the Scorpius, and the Scorpius is advertising. Nice ship, it's just not my thing. So I believe I've flown it once, maybe twice. That was pretty much it. But we'll do a tour on it eventually. Alright, I'm not going to do a full tour of the Carac. Just about everybody out there has seen and or been in one. It is the premier huge explorer ship. The rivals to this thing, pretty much the Origin 600i, though the Origin 600i is supposed to have, this is supposed to have a better computer scanning system than the 600i. Kind of a cool feature. I'm going to get lost trying to get up to the Pisces Bay, but I will say that this only has one entrance, which doesn't make much sense to me. As far as I know, it's this front ramp. It's the bridge up here, all that glass. It's kind of nice. There's a lot to this ship. And I believe in the middle-ish is where the hangar is. And you can get a small ship in that hangar, specifically the Pisces. This is your classic, your Hornet series. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm an idiot. This is your Gladiator. Looked a little over-armored for a Hornet. That's my fault. This is your Gladiator. Nice fighter. This used to be the meta. It's not that it's not necessarily a good ship anymore, but I think the Gladius kind of took it from it. But Arrow is a pretty decent ship. I have one of my accounts to use as a small fighter to store in my Endeavor hangar along with the medevac, just so we have some ships to help kind of defend it if it's out there by itself. Hopefully that will never happen per se, but it is what it is. Shit happens. It doesn't look like there's anything over here. I'll give you a little bit of a wider view. Get over to the entrance here a little bit. I see the size of the Carrack. Probably one of the more popular ships. Very, very nice multi-purpose, holds decent cargo, can take land vehicles, has a hangar for a second fighter. Surveillance, exploring equipment. It is an all-around spectacular ship. I want another route. I want the Origin fanboy way, but if I had not, I would probably jump on the Carrack bandwagon with everybody else. All right, now here are the Hornets, and there is a lot of variants, and there are probably most of them here. So I'll have to cheat and look at the signs, probably. All right, this is the Wildfire version. So your standard Hornet has a couple of variants as far as a fighter is concerned. The Wildfire has some lore. I don't remember it exactly. I think it was a female pilot. I could be wrong, but did some amazing things in the Hornet, and she became popular enough to where she got her own armament and weapons package put on her ship, and then it was named after her as a specific variant for the Hornet that she would fly, and that's where the Wildfire came from. So the specific designation is ANVIL F7C. Yep, your area, Riley, so that's what it pays tribute to. So I have Heart Seeker. Let's see if that's even down here. This is the tracker. this is supposed to be a good fighter-based chassis that'll have some scanning equipment and get out there in deep space. This is kind of your fighter probe that you fly around and get whatever data you need and then bring it back. I think personally I would go for the Terrapin if I was doing scouting missions, but the Terrapin is rather big and beefy, so the Hornet kind of folds back with the wings, so probably tucks into an Idris or other ships a little bit easier than Terrapin would for sure. What are we looking at here? Alright, that's your base model. Regular F7, FC7, and F7CM. Alright, now this is the Super Hornet. I have the Heartseeker version of this. The gun package on this is nice, and where a lot of ships that have turrets are not slaved to the pilot if they're not in use, this is. So, in effect, you can be using both of these semi-nose lasers. I don't know if you call them nose or chin mount lasers. I guess a chin mount laser. And when you're just a pilot with no co-pilot, that turret lasers are fixed forward. So you are actually shooting 4 or 2 at a time, depending on how you set up your firing position and your weapons group. But which is really nice because that does bring a lot of firepower to bear. And you also have the wing guns down here. Super Hornet, same size, as far as I know, almost exactly the same size, just a little bit better weapons and armor. As a variant upgrade than a regular Hornet. Now, the Hornet is a fighter. The Super Hornet is like an up-armored fighter, so to speak. It is still a fighter. It's just up-armored, up weapons, where the other ones had a little bit more of a specified path for their use, other than just fighting. This is your Ghost, this is your Stealth. I almost got one just so I could have a Hornet in black, but then they came out with paints a couple years ago and been waiting. But your Ghost is your stealth ship. Sneak in, fire, sneak out. And your F7A. Now this is the military version. Let's see what they say. Alright, so the F7A is the UAE's military ship. The Super Hornet is close, but for civilian use, this is the military version. And you cannot fly this unless you steal one. You'll see F7As doing escorts along with the Lightnings. You cannot own this. There is one person in the entire game period that owns a real F7A, and that was due to an online, I don't know if you had to submit something or answer some questions. Whatever it was, I think they meant to do a Super Hornet. They said F7A. When he won, they honored it, and so he is technically the only one that will ever own a real F7A. Now there is a skin, which I found out. I don't have it. And they E-rape option you on eBay. I've seen it a couple times for like $500-600 for a skin. But you can skin your Hornet as an F7A, but you will not have the hard points, you will not have the armor, you will not have the weapons that come standard with an F7A. All it is a skin. So you can look cool, you're just not as cool as the UAE military. So those are your Hornets. What they're missing up here is the Heartseeker, which is what I have. Main thing about a Heartseeker is it is a Super Hornet, like the middle right one there, right there. And the Heartseeker is just kind of a different skin, kind of a nod back to the World War II era, where it's got the, I can't remember her name, she had a pinned name, but the woman doing the flexing, and then there's a heart. It's that type of a nod back then. It's kind of a cool skin. Alright. Very, very strange. The only one in here is a Spartan. I don't understand how they're doing this. Alright, we'll start over here. No, we're going to start over here because the F8 Lightning is awesome. So there's a Spartan, there's a Centurion, and there's a Ballista. Spartan, go in here. This is your troop transport. Here you have seats. You have, I believe, I could be wrong, but it might be, because they're not functional yet. I thought they had weapons racks in here. There they are. So you've got some weapon racks, some storage. You can change your lighting effects. I think this is the first one that did that in a vehicle. I have this, so we'll do a bigger tour later. This vehicle itself only has the turret as a gun option. Very cool. You can't use the side ladders yet. We're all kind of hoping that eventually you will. And with the Corsair allowing people to take an elevator onto the top of the ship, we're assuming they're going to start giving some accessibility to people getting on and around their ship to do repairs. Obviously, you can EVA out in space and do it, but I think they're trying to get you on top of your ship so you can do some hull fixing. Alright, now this is the Valkyrie. A couple days ago we talked about the Prowler. The Prowler is the major troop transport. It's an alien ship. It looks like a giant hawk with the chairs and all that, and the skeletal system on the inside, kind of looking like intestines and a skeleton of the bird. The ANVIL is your straight up military troop transport. These big box thrusters here camber down to go up and down quick, and then they shoot horizontally for the engines to thrust forward. This is one of my favorite ships of all time. And if it wasn't for the ladder bug, I would probably use it almost exclusively. Kind of looks like the alien ship that they landed everybody in on Aliens 2. So you have two sides to this. We'll see both. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have 10 in this pod. You'll have 10 in the other one, which we'll go in a minute. You can have one guy on these side guns. Now this is probably one of the coolest parts. So you can be a door gunner. It's not letting me really aim with it since we're in the hall. So you have a door gun. Those doors over here close. Seal you up, and then you can open it back up, tell them to go, and this pod will run out this one with cover fire from this door gunner, and then this pod will run out this one covered by that door gunner. In here you can hold I've never tried a Spartan. I think that would be too long just looking at it, but the Tumbril Nova, I I've had all of the Cyclones, all the hover bikes, stuff like that will fit in here without a problem, which is great because you can put 2 Cyclones in here, or you can put 1 Cyclone and have some cargo. There's another 10 seats. So this thing can be manned with 20 troopers to drop. 20 troopers to drop, 2 door gunners, so that's 22. We have this turret for the top, this gunner, 23. It's kind of a cool room, semi-wasted space in my opinion. I think they could have done something with half of it. You have that. Oh, there's the ladder. Come up here. There's a bed. Just get your food. 2 more beds you can log out in. This is really cool. You can look down over your cargo or your vehicles. Again, that's the turret gunner for up top. Same thing over here to look down. Got a couple more beds. Shit shower, shave room, which is nice. You got 2 more gunners. Probably those are for the wings. So those are remote turrets. You come down here. This is supposed to be hand scanned. So the way I believe it's supposed to work is that I close this and nobody can come in here after I've closed it. So if somebody's boarding and trying to take it over, they would have to hack their way to get to the cockpit. So it's like a fail-safe to protect the pilot. Like I said, this is kind of my baby. I absolutely love this ship. She looks sexy. I got a camouflage paint on her. You can totally see the alien dropship resemblance, which I am more than okay with. Those are your wing guns, very fragile. And what you can use, but I don't know how, is this little window. You can see the 2 guns and look just above it. That little window in there is underneath the pilot's feet. It's supposed to be so you can look down, and as you're flying over a combat zone, see an area to drop your people at. The window's not very big, hidden by your feet, and unless you specifically look down, you can't really see in out of it, but the idea is cool. My opinion, it goes with the rule of cool. It's okay if it's not totally functional, as long as it looks cool. But you can see that's the window. I've done a glitch, but you can see the window under where the feet would go. The stair bug here drives me batshit crazy, but I will have just gotten done with a mission, unload all the weapons and everything inside of here in your ship inventory. It is not allowing me to view the ship inventory. That would pop up over here, and then you go to climb this, and then it won't let you climb. It'll kick you right off the ladder, and you go to climb again, and it'll kick you right off the ladder. Now I'm doing this on purpose, but that's what it does. And it sucks, because then you can't fly away. And you have to call for a buddy, or you just go yourself and spawn back up at the space station and come back with something else. There's the lightning. These ships are used to escort the Javelin and Idrises and other major UAE ships There is a couple versions. There is the military version that you see here. Only way you can fly this is if you are actually stealing it from one of the missions. There is a civilian version of the Lightning that you can get if you reach Wing Commander, which is 10,000 spent on the game. And you are also supposed to be able to get a Lightning if you finish Squadron 42, which is the PC side single player story mode version of Star Citizen. There is an F8 Lightning Executive Edition, which is all black with gold accents. That is for the Praetorian. That is 15 grand spent, if you are so inclined. I am not, so I will be missing out on the cool skin of that one, but unfortunately I'm about to get that Lightning any day now. But that is also stuck behind the Squadron 42 wall like the Idris and a couple other ships. They are not going to offer that for people to use in the testing servers until Squadron 42 comes out. They're saving it as a surprise. Personally, they can fuck themselves. But I understand and wish they would release it, since this game is taking so long to develop. I'm not really interested in your surprises. I'm just interested in what you're putting out. But that's me. Now this is the Ballista. If you saw the Spartan upstairs, this is what's called an Atlas platform. You have your basic Atlas Pro platform, which is more or less the Spartan. And then there's three variants. There's the Spartan, Centurion, and Ballista. This is the Ballista. You can see the Ballista has rockets. I believe those are size 5 or 7 torpedoes. I'd have to look up the specs. I don't want to lie. And then they have the smaller ones. The only issue with the Ballista, while very nice to have ground torpedoes to throw up at people, is obviously you're ammo limited. And once you have blown your load all over somebody, you're done. And all you have is the Gatlings on top. This is your seat to sit in for the missile launcher. This is your driver's seat. Got a couple gun racks here. The cool thing about what I'll show you probably on the other side of this is the Centurion. These are supposed to be stabilizers and levelers. Well, they don't do much leveling, they do stabilize, sort of. And they do work on the Centurion, they just do not work on the Ballista. The Ballista's been out for quite a while. The Centurion has not. The Centurion and Spartan just came out, and it is the Centurion. So this thing is a behemoth. It is epic in every sense of the word. That in the back is a Rhino quad turret, the exact same turret, weapons, that is on a hammerhead. So in a sense, you have an 8-wheel sort of tank, MRAP, APC, whatever you want to call this variant of ground vehicle, with a subcapital turret on its back. And that thing slaps the shit out of stuff. Downside is you really have no ground cover. Once I get this close, you're not hitting me with a single thing on this vehicle. If I'm off in a distance, you probably have a chance. And these are the stabilizers. And on this, I don't know why the tires look so messed up. Looks like it's glitched to where it's sitting. But these stabilizers do come up and down. And when they're up and down, it picks the vehicle up. Well, the tires are off the ground, and it's supposed to stabilize and level you off. is your turret seat, the driver, and your guns. Now, a lot of people would say that some of these things, like the Hornets and the Atlas platform, they're just money making one thing and turning it into several others just for the money aspect. And I don't think you're necessarily wrong if you have that opinion, but at the very least on this Atlas platform, 100%, there is so much variety and use for each of the three classes of the Atlas platform that I would disagree with that overall. I love having the missiles, especially if you're by your base. You can reload them and get right back into the action pretty quick. I don't think I would use the ballista as a drop vehicle, and unless it's covering an area and when you run out, you run out. But I would definitely take that to cover where I'm at if I wasn't at my base, because that will destroy just about everything flying at you. And then the Spartan is just a nice big ass troop transport to bring you and all your buddies up to a bunker or whatever you got going on. Alright, here we have the Legionnaire. This is CIG's first attempt. I shouldn't say attempt because it doesn't work yet. But this is supposed to be a boarding ship made as the smaller brother of the Valkyrie. I don't remember how many troops you get to put in this. It's definitely not 20 plus, maybe 6, if. But the whole point of this is it's stealthy. The signature of this ship is low. You can get this ship up to another ship. This ship can hack, so you can open up your exterior doors so you're not blowing your way in, or blow your way in. I don't fucking care. Either way, this is to get a little squad of commandos up to a door, get them inside a ship, and take off. Valkyrie's kind of big. There's different uses for every ship, but this ship, and I don't think that the Valkyrie can't hack. So if you're trying to get at least your first people, like in the medieval times, you get them up over the wall to open the gate. That's what this ship is. This is to get you over the walls so your commandos can run and open the gate. This is your Trojan horse to get behind the enemy lines, let the people out, open the way for everybody else. Really cool addition. I definitely grabbed one of those. Not flyable yet. That's why we're back here in the hollows. This is the Liberator. This is a ground and air, I would say, mini carrier. I think they pretty much kind of call it a pocket carrier. We'll read it here in a second. Alright, so it's tough to see. I wish they would let you stand on shit, because the tops of these ships is pretty amazing too. Can't really see nothing. But this is the front, so you can get an idea. The top of this ship, so you can see, this is the top. This is actually right in the middle here, a door, ramp, and this is another platform. So that ramp door opens, and inside you can have 450, I might be lying, in that area of cargo. You can put vehicles. I don't know if they've gone over the size, but they said a Nova, which is a tank, so you can at least get a tank and some smaller vehicles in there. And then up here, this is a landing platform, and on top is 2 landing platforms. I think this is supposed to be for a small and extra smalls. As the rule says, if it sits, it fits, so whatever the hell fits, you're good to go with. But I traded my M2, which is a Hercules military transport ship, for the Liberator, just because now I can ferry an Arrow, a Gladius, a Pisces. I can ferry also with it a tank, a Spartan, a Ballista, a Centurion, and I can transport a ton of weapons and ammo. and I can transport goods. So if I'm going to the outer reaches of Pyro, I bring my Liberator, so I have a different manifest of flight ability, and I have ground vehicles I can drop down and unload, and whatever I'm stealing and mining and whatever can get stored in here, and you just pick up this pocket carrier and fly off with all your shit, and you have a ton of stuff. So to me, the versatility of the cargo is separate, and on the side is separate, and on the side that you can still put vehicles in and store cargo, where the Hercules is, you're a little bit more limited. I'm assuming this is the Crucible. I gotta double check. Yep, this is your Crucible. This is your heavy repair. So you have broken stuff, you fly a Crucible into your battle, and you start fixing all your broken stuff. The pictures never really do it justice, so it's really hard to get an idea and a sense of what it was supposed to look like. I guess this, if they've done a holo, then this is pretty much what it's going to be. And you fly your ship up into it, or roll your vehicles, I'm assuming, someday into it, and it'll arm, patch, refuel, and send you on your way. I don't have a Crucible. I think somebody does. I don't remember who, though. Definitely something nice to have. If you don't have one, then stay by your base. But that, they don't have. They did have. My bad. I almost said they didn't have the Centurion, but there it is. So that would be Anvil in a nutshell on day 5. I hope you enjoyed it. If you do get a chance, remember that this is Free Fly Week. So through the end of the month, you don't need to own anything. You don't need to own the game. You don't need to own Squadron. You don't need to own any ships. You can jump into the game. You can fly around. You can rent everything and do your thing and check it out. And I would greatly recommend that. Go down here and double check this in case I missed something. I think I came from over there, that's why. This is the Spartan, yeah. So we're good. So there you have it. That is Anvil Day. Anvil, like Aegis, is heavy on military use, obviously, as you can see. Get out there and fly. Thanks for watching.